Coming up on Look Today, well, the 5th Annual Beekman St Arts Fair in Saratoga was a huge success, and we were there. A public workshop on inclusionary zoning in Saratoga Springs will take place tomorrow. I've got details. And Caffe Lena at SPAC, the concert series, kicked off this past weekend. More on that coming up. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm J. Hood Jackson. This is Look Today. Well, in tonight's program, I sit down with Stephen Kine. He's the chairman of Saratoga Rotary Scholarship Committee, and we're joined by Sophie Smith. She's a student at Saratoga Springs High School and the recent winner of the club's presidential scholarship. And she's here to discuss the scholarship as well as her plans for the future. I also sit down with Dwayne Vaughn. He's executive director of the Tri-County United Way, and he's here to discuss a rather unique fundraiser called Over the Edge, and that's happening June 17 in Glens Falls. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, the Beekman St Arts Fair in Saratoga was alive with arts, music, and street performers this past Sunday in Saratoga. And the 5th Annual Beekman St Arts Fair featured woodworkers, photographers, painters, and weavers. A variety of musicians performed, from young singer-songwriters to seasoned bluegrass bands. Well, we were at the street fair. We had the opportunity to speak to many artists, but one of the artists, Elizabeth Haynes, talked about the Saratoga arts community.
It's starting to revitalize itself again. I think, there was a little bit of a lull, but it seems like there's a lot of energy coming back into revitalizing this area into an arts district worthy of the name. So I think it's good.
Yeah, we spoke to a lot of different artists at the fair. So tonight, we'll be closing out the show with other conversations we had with some of the artists. In other news, well, a vote on the inclusionary zoning in Saratoga Springs was postponed at the last city council meeting. Now, inclusionary zoning states that 20% of any new development must include affordable housing. Now, those who are opposed say the city should explore site-specific approaches for affordable housing. And the vote was postponed to next week because the Saratoga County Planning Board determined that the housing ordinance application was incomplete. Well, a public workshop will take place tomorrow, 1:30 in Saratoga. We spoke to Commissioner Chris Mattison about this.
There's a workshop that takes place tomorrow at 1:30 in the City Council chambers, and during that point in time, I believe Commissioner Frank, who was most concerned about having another workshop, will be bringing some people who are developers in the city and also some people who are in the mortgage industry to the meeting.
Switching from news to weather. Well, another beautiful day today. Temperatures in the mid to high 90s. Yep, you can expect chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Let's see how the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser. Look at the first look weather outlook. We currently have a Bermuda high out towards the Atlantic, bringing a southerly flow towards much of the Gulf Coast states, but towards closer to home, we do have this cold frontal boundary near the Great Lakes is binding some scattered thunderstorms, maybe a little bit of severe weather. I think the worst of the severe weather will be out towards Nebraska, Wyoming, and South Dakota. We also have another frontal boundary way off towards New England as well. So looking at a tighter view, there's that cold front that I mentioned up towards the north, as well as that warm front towards the northeast. So we're going to be in the warm sector of this system as temperatures tonight cool down to mainly in the 60s. Looking at a tighter view, looking at towards the southern part of the viewing area, upper 60s, mid 60s towards places like Fort Edward and Whitehall. And as we head towards Glens Falls, 67 the overnight low. Johnsburg 64 degrees. So looking at partly cloudy skies, mid to upper 60s with a southwest breeze about 5 to 10 miles per hour. A few more isolated showers as that cold front gets closer to us. Otherwise partly sunny, 86 the expected high. The out the door forecast, you may want to keep that umbrella handy. Partly sunny, mid 70s through your 8 a.m. hour. The extended forecast, we're looking at temperatures warm back up after a morning low of 53 on Tuesday night. Wednesday looks to be great, 74 and pure sunshine. Mostly sunny on Thursday as well with a 76-degree high, but more chances of wet weather will arrive on Friday and Saturday as temps cool down from the mid to upper 70s to the upper 60s as a cold front passes by. Then it will lift back up as a warm front as temperatures climb back to the upper 70s by Saturday. So Wednesday and Thursday look to be the best days of the week in terms of any outdoor plans. So that's a good look at the first look weather outlook. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponsler. I'll send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Clarence. Looks like it's going to cool off a little bit. Back to the news. Well, yesterday marked the first of the Caffe Lena at SPAC Concert Series. Now, the bands included Ramblers Home, The Pines, and the Birds of Chicago. The concert took place on the gazebo stage at SPAC, and the next concert will take place July 9th, featuring the famous Steel Wheels. All right, up next, I sit down with Stephen Kine. He's the chairman of the Saratoga Rotary Scholarship Committee, and we're joined by Sophie Smith. She's a student at Saratoga Springs High School and the recent winner of the club's presidential scholarship. And she's here to discuss the scholarship as well as her plans for the future. Plus, I also sit down with Dwayne Vaughn. He's executive director of the Tri-County United Way. He's here to discuss a rather unusual fundraiser called Over the Edge, and that's happening June 17 in Glens Falls. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I've got some lookouts. You know, despite the heat yesterday, Caffe Lena at SPAC and the Beekman St Arts Fair were big successes. There's something about seeing a concert at SPAC. There's just nothing like it. And the musicians were just on their game, and the crowd was great. And then if you hit Beekman St, it was just mobbed with all kinds of people. I guess the summer has arrived. Now, look, it's Monday, so we look ahead on Monday. Salt and Char is coming in. Rather unusual interview. Vegetarian Delight, let's call it that. They're entering a contest for the best vegetarian burger. So since I'm a vegetarian, we want to talk to them. Dave Womer is coming in. Christopher Schmidt is coming in. He's running for Congress. Rachel Sieber, Supervisor Rachel Sieber is coming in for that ongoing conversation about the Watershed Coalition. Should be very interesting. And this week we're on location up at Jim and Jeannie's place, Cronin's Golf Resort in Warrensburg. That is always a fun trip. And we're also going to be out at R.S. Taylor Brewery real early in the morning to capture the magic hour out there. Fun week, okay? Tonight on Look TV, it's Beyond the Headlines and Tracks. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.
I went to school for woodworking and furniture design, and I've kind of developed my style over the last 20 years where I started off making more painted work, and now I've really gone into these very industrial materials of stainless steel cable, wood, metal.
It's kind of my thing, but I also like to do it in a way that is kind of different than what you see when most people photograph. So I am a digital photographer, and I use the digital nature of the photograph to do techniques that weren't available even 10 years ago.
Yarn. Well, I'm making yarn out of roving, which is material that comes off of a sheep, and then I dye it. So this is merino sheep, and I dye it, and then I spin it up, and it turns into what's behind you.